Hello, I finished reading Haruki Murakami's new book, 2024 book, just published in November. It's called Say and It's a Certain War. This book, I think, came out in Japan last year. And so I have been waiting for it for a year, more than a year, I would say. But it just came out in English translation. And I was so excited to read this. It consists of like a part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 is something about this magical city surrounded with a high wall, and it's very, very difficult to get in there and to get out. And so this protagonist is more or less like a middle-aged, 45-ish, and going to the area when he was young, very young, I would say. So it's almost like depicted like a made-up dream world. And but then when he got older, he is in this side of the realistic world, and he kind of going back and forth to this dream world and this particular realistic world. And I think when I read his book early on, like in the 1980s, I think his fiction is more or less like a fantasy type of thing. And it's like he going to this world to experience a lot of strange things, and it's not the realistic world, so everything is very, very like fantasy type of thing there, which I didn't enjoy that much because it's not much like a very I cannot identify this particular magical world because it's so far-fetched, and I didn't like that particular world. It appeared in like a early fiction by him. So early fiction by him I didn't like that much, and like after Norwegian world became a little bit realistic, and then I really enjoyed like a Broad Chronicle, Norwegian Wood, Kafka on the Shore, and the Killing Commendatory, 1Q84, Tadakik School Pilgrimage. All this I really love. But this one is pretty much like going back to the original start point. No wonder he had this story, a short story written around that time, but it was never published or anything. So he kind of feeling that he would like to go back on that particular subject, and that's why he came back. And I think that's when the 2019, when the coronavirus is raging all over the world. I think that's when he started to write this particular story, and he wanted to make it more like a enjoyable, more fictionalized, tangible, deep, whatever, and that's this book about. And indeed, like chapter 1 that dealt with this fantasy world, for me it was like a little bit tedious, a little bit hard to get into. But chapter 2, which is part 2, is becoming all of a sudden this magical realism reality. It's a world that you surround yourself with these bits and pieces of strange phenomena. Of course, this is a magical reality type of thing, and therefore there is still strangeness there, here and there. But when you read it, it becomes very believable. And that's when I really enjoyed that his work, Murakami's fictional work is always like a very urgent, very loving, I would say, and very strong. Sometimes the story takes from one to the other, and each story is very captivating, a very interesting story. So I really enjoyed part 2. So in that part 2, I think about this middle-aged man who works in the library and meets all kinds of different type of people. Not all kinds, or maybe couple of different, two maybe different type of people who are also his kind. It's very intelligent, very warm-hearted, and very smart. Very smart people he encountered, and it's about the relationship with them, and then kind of establish like a mentorship with them, and or teaching or getting taught by them, and you grow up in that type of environment, which is very nice. And sometimes I would say it's because you feel like you are getting old, because Murakami himself is about my age. He's about 75 years old this year, and I think he started to think about life and death, especially death, what happened after death. And I think that's why he went back to this particular short story and started to make it more tangible fiction version of it. And it's very nice there. Then part 3 is like a conclusion point, which is, I thought, maybe is a very typical Haruki Murakami's ending, that you are kind of feel like you are limbo, you are not completely satisfied. And some of the book he wrote, like 1Q84, is completely satisfying. Killing Commander Tori, very satisfying, and Wind Up Chronicle and Norwegian World, very satisfying. Tazaki Tsukuru, Pilgrimage, also very satisfying. But this one, in a way, it's satisfying because you take it as it is, like you are in this two worlds, fantasy world and the realistic world. You navigate both of them through this particular person's mind. And so if you understand that, it is tangible ending. But I really wish that the more conventional, like a good happy ending, for example, like a 1Q84. I really wish that that's gonna be the case, but it's not. It's very Haruki Murakami's ending stanza. So yeah, I still recommend this book. Hard, very hard, because it's very enjoyable. Once you start to read, you cannot stop. And as always, there is this feeling of that you're getting into this deep philosophical world, and you are moved by it. You are more or less affected by the warmth you get. And especially in this book, like you are affected by this divine love from somebody up above watching you and taking care of you and guiding you. And that particular part is very, very nice. I really love that. So yeah, that's my opinion, and I think for Haruki Murakami fan, this is of course it's a must read. And for people who haven't really got into the Haruki Murakami, I think this maybe you can read it still and you may like it, but I think I caution you, you feel like in the first part of it is maybe very slow and nothing happening, but the middle part are very, very engaging. So I think you still can read it without knowing Haruki Murakami that much. But definitely, this is a book I read this year, I think 2024. Yeah, one of the best books there.